Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and for today's video, we have a huge piece of news about Tesla that will both affect the company and the stock in a very positive way because this is like a huge milestone achievement. But before we jump right into this article and this news piece, I just want to say if you enjoy these videos and you really appreciate this content, or if you're just simply a Tesla bull and like Tesla content, make sure to drop a like on this video, smash the like button. It really does help me out and I really do appreciate it. It helps these videos get recommended to newer audience members, and of course it simply just shows me some love as well, which I really appreciate. But anyways, back onto the main topic. Today we have to talk about Tesla stock and some recent Tesla news that came out from electric. So let's go ahead and jump right into this article. As you can see right here, it says the Tesla Model 3 has beaten the Honda Civic as the top selling car in California. And just to expand on it further, it says the Tesla Model 3 has outsold the much cheaper Honda Civic to become California's top selling passenger car during the first quarter of 2020. And if we go down farther, it says the California New Car Dealers Association classifies the Tesla Model 3 as a near luxury vehicle. Model 3 led the segment, outselling all the competition combined. It also beat the top selling vehicles like the Honda Civic and the Toyota Camry. So before we even jump into anything else and start talking about other things, we have to take note of how huge of a piece of news this is right here. This is basically saying Tesla has taken over as the top selling car in California. And this is something I've been preaching video after video after video, that electric vehicles are going to take over. And when Tesla is dominating the electric vehicle market and when there's pretty much no other competition out there, that means that Tesla can take over the total vehicle market as well. So it's not just competing with a lot of the other electric vehicles out there in its category at this point in California. It's competing with every single thing out there. It's competing with ICE vehicles, it's competing with electric vehicles, and it's still finishing out on top. And we do realize, I know a lot of us understand that California is a much forward-thinking state when it comes to renewable energy and stuff like that. But one really important thing to take into consideration that I think will convince consumers to simply switch over from ICE vehicles, combustion engines, to electric vehicles, vehicles that use electric batteries. A huge aspect that will help people switch over and transfer to those types of vehicles is not the renewable energy, but simply the fact of how well electric vehicles perform compared to combustion engines. For one thing, there's a lot less maintenance costs. You don't have to worry about fan belts and oil changes and stuff like that. But on a more important note, what is going to attract people mostly from combustion engines to electric vehicles is the fact that Tesla can start up and be very, very quiet in terms of noise. It can go 0 to 60 in a small amount of seconds compared to combustion engines, which would take a lot longer to go that fast. So basically, if you want performance out of a vehicle, if you're simply looking for a vehicle that goes crazy, goes super fast, if you want it to go that fast, and you want an opportunity for a vehicle that has good performance, then it's just facts across the board that electric vehicles win that battle. And if electric vehicles are the future anyways, if it's the new fuel solution, then there's really no reason not to buy into electric vehicles, especially considering that charging is going to get much faster in the future as the battery production, research, and development improves. And of course, Tesla is also operating on declining cost curves, which means they will be able to produce more in the future for a cheaper price, which is something they cannot do currently with combustion engines. So now that we've talked about the advantage of the Tesla Model 3 or a lot of the other electric Tesla vehicles out there compared to the normal market and just like ICE vehicles, and of course all of the other electric competition as well, now that we've addressed that, I want to go ahead and discuss the Model 3 in comparison to every other car in its category, and then of course compare it to a lot of the other category vehicles as well that are outside of the near luxury category. So if we look at this chart, the Tesla Model 3 takes up 18,856 registrations in California, and I believe it takes up about 52.2% of the market share in this category. And if you look at the BMW 3 Series, the Lexus ES, the Mercedes C-Class, and the Audi A4, even if you combined all of these registrations together and their market share together, it would still not be more than the Model 3 alone. And this is one of the largest pieces of news from this article, is the fact that not only does it beat every other vehicle in the near luxury category, it beats every other vehicle in the near luxury category combined together. And that is a huge aspect of Tesla almost having like a monopoly on this category right here. And I say that in the best way possible because obviously we want to transition to renewable energy and electric energy. But I say this as a good thing because if you really think about this, given Tesla's plan, their research, and of course their full self-driving technology and how they're feeding it data right now for the future, Tesla is really ahead of a lot of these other vehicles out there. And once everyone eventually does transition to electric vehicles, Tesla is just going to be the primary best option because they're so much farther ahead compared to all of these other companies that are going to have to turn around the ship slowly, transition from combustion ICE vehicles, and finally start working on electric vehicles. And most likely they're going to have to use Tesla's battery technology. And that's where the option arises of if Tesla wants to produce batteries for other car companies out there as well. But I think that's a huge advantage that Tesla has currently. So in my opinion, given this category right now, the Tesla Model 3 is already dominating current cars, and the Tesla Model 3 isn't even some of our most state-of-the-art research and production just yet. We still have much farther to go in the future in terms of that declining cost curve, more efficiency, more miles per charge. So in the future, it only gets better and better, whereas you have vehicles like this to where basically the only things they can improve in these combustion engine vehicles are some smaller aspects, and then of course the luxury interiors and design on the outside, whereas the Tesla Model 3 has a focus on efficiency and then of course some good design as well, but the major focus is on the firmware, the efficiency, the autopilot, full self-driving, and stuff like that. So it has some extreme advantages where I don't see any other form of competition even being a threat whatsoever at this point or within the near future as well. But now that we've addressed the near luxury category, we have to address the mid-size category and the compact size as well. So as you can see with the Tesla Model 3 right here with this almost 19,000 registrations, this is way more than any other registration in the near luxury category. So you have to realize that especially with the Tesla Model 3 beating the Honda Civic in terms of numbers and also beating the Toyota Camry in the midsize, so the Tesla Model 3 is outperforming all of the vehicles in both the midsize and the compact category as well. And even if you go down to the luxury midsize SUV, obviously this is a very different vehicle from a midsize SUV, but you also have to realize that the Model 3 is actually technically taking some market share from these midsize and compact vehicles as well, because in my opinion, I think that there are some people out here that would have bought a midsize vehicle or a compact vehicle, but the Tesla Model 3 came out and they decided to buy it instead, regardless of what category it was in, even though it did differ from their intended category for, like, let's say a Honda Civic in the compact category or a Toyota Camry in the midsize category. Let's just say the person that made a Model 3 purchase may not have been constrained to a category, but they were going to buy a vehicle from one of these specific categories, and the Model 3 may have potentially brought them out of that intention to go into those categories, and they simply just bought a near luxury vehicle for a few more thousand instead. And that was a huge emphasis on the Model 3 as well, was simply the Model 3 being more affordable than a lot of the other Tesla vehicles out there. And that's one of the big aspects of the Model 3 that made it such a huge deal, is because it's a fairly affordable vehicle. Even though it is near luxury, it is a competitor to like the BMWs and stuff like that. It is a high quality vehicle for a reasonable price, and right now Tesla is working on making even better vehicles that are more compact and even cheaper, especially one that they've talked about. I know Elon Musk mentioned with China, doing one in China for a compact vehicle. But what's important to realize from this news is that not only Tesla, the Tesla Model 3 is a competitor to the Honda Civic and the Toyota Camry, but it's beaten out every single bit of its competition in near luxury and every bit of its competition combined in that category. But in my opinion, in my translation from this article, even though the statistics don't directly correlate the two, I do think that the Tesla Model 3 is taking customers that would have otherwise gone into the midsize or the compact category, or even something like the luxury midsize SUV, or maybe even a high-end sports car. People simply just like the Tesla Model 3 because it's new technology, it's something different that vehicle manufacturers have never done before. So regardless of the shape or the size of the vehicle, people want to see this new technology. They want to see these autopilot features. They want to see how the electric charging works. And as we know, with the people out there that do transition over to Tesla, they rarely ever go back because Tesla is such a good company and their vehicles are high quality products with a lot of features. So this is hugely important. And like I mentioned earlier, we have to realize that this is California. They are more forward thinking when it comes to renewable energy. But in the future, like I mentioned previously, when people realize that the performance is just simply better with a Tesla, when they realize you can go 0 to 60 in 2.9 and stuff like that, they're simply just going to view it as a better vehicle. That fact is going to come to them. And that statement is coming from someone like me that lives in a rural area where coal is actually a big deal, or it was a big deal. So fossil fuels are highly valued around here, even though it is considered like damaging to the earth and stuff. Fossil fuels have been a big source of jobs for people where I live, so it is important to people, but I could still see them transitioning to electric energy, especially if they realize simply just the performance on the vehicle is better. Obviously, I could sort of see some people in my community scoffing at the idea of an electric vehicle, but obviously we have the tons of examples out there of like Tesla vehicles racing other gasoline-powered vehicles, and they just perform so much better. And I think once those individuals realize that fact right there, the renewable energy and the electric power that they would normally make fun of won't even matter anymore because they'll care about their performance. And eventually, I think it could be a norm once people realize that it just simply does perform better. And then for those people that don't really care about the energy aspect of all of that, I think the energy will just be a bonus on top of that. So that's a fantastic aspect that Tesla has right now. And a huge advantage is the fact that they are able to make their vehicles match competitively with some of the other vehicles out there. And that's going to be a huge game changer for the people that don't really care about renewable energy and stuff like that, but care more about simply the performance on the vehicle. So that is a huge advantage that we have. For one thing, the people that care about renewable energy, obviously that's a good way to help people transition to Tesla vehicles. Whereas when you have others that don't really care about renewable energy, when their performance is better and it's just simply a better product, and that's still a huge influence to where even the renewable energy aspect has less value to those people, but they still want the vehicle because it performs better. So if we go back on a Tesla stock on Robinhood, as you can see, the current value is about $842, and we had a huge boost on Friday, up over 4% right now, 4.19%. And I've gained $913 just within the date of Friday, which is absolutely huge. That's like $1,000 gain, which is totally insane. But I do think that this stock is going to go up in the future much more and eventually become a multi-$1,000 stock. I do think that this is very possible because Tesla has so many plans for the future. They still haven't even achieved their full plan yet, and they're not even close to that, which is a good thing considering all of the good feedback that Tesla has gotten so far and all of the progress that it has made. I would rather see Tesla just barely completed with their plan right now than almost done with it, because at this point that means that they are still making laps around their competition and making sure that they are way farther ahead to where it's not even really going to be possible for all of these legacy automakers to turn the ship around in time when Tesla is this far ahead. So in terms of the stock, I do think that it will be going up much more in the future. There has been a big reason why I've been purchasing a lot of these shares lately, and I think we're going to see that reason upcoming soon if we don't have to face another crash. Fingers crossed. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And like I said earlier, please make sure to drop a like on the video. Smash that like button. Really does help me out. And if you would like to begin investing, feel free to use my referral links down in the description below to Robinhood and Webull. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks, which is pretty awesome. But I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your weekend and stay safe out there.